Hi and welcome. So this is Kumar Pallav and today we are going to learn about introduction to Java classes, right? So this is our first lecture where we will be discussing about introduction to Java. So who am I? I have around 10 years of experience with Java and Spring technologies. So basically I have been coding with Java for around 12 years and with 10 years of industry experience currently. So if you what we are going to set up in this particular today's class is very simple. We will be creating a simple Java project and write a simple Java program. So this is the first class. For the 0th class, as I have already said, that if you want, actually what you can do, so if you go to coding class as courses, so you can anyway, I hope that you because I have already sent a mail where I have written that how you can set up the Java environment and all, and even if you just click and finish it, you would have been getting the 0th class downloadable format. And if you have already set up the Java environment and had downloaded IntelliJ, so you should be ready to go. So even if somebody of some of your classes, if you want somebody to take the class and he has missed today's class, you can actually forward him this lecture and you can ask him to come tomorrow and join us. It will be good because more and more people see it. It is good for everybody. And I do have a Slack channel. So if you have registered, it's fine. Otherwise, what you can do, you can actually go and get into the Slack channel. The Slack channel we will be using for writing or asking questions, and you should be giving maximum details when you want to ask questions. At the same time, you can use this code block to write code. Okay, so this is how this class will be conducted. And now going to our first class, which we will be discussing. So if I go by agenda, what is the today's agenda? We'll see that. So in today's class, this is class 1. So 0 is basically installing Java and downloading the IDE. We will be using IntelliJ. So just for a recap, if you want to know how to install Java and other things, so I had sent a document and you can download it also. You just have to register in that particular course. It will give you a link for downloadable one, and let's see what you can actually will be getting. Okay, so this is a day 0 course for Java. So what you have to do, if you are working with a Linux system, you can use this particular command to install Java. Currently Java is using Java 14, but there is a long-term support with Java 11. So what is Java 11 and what is long-term support? Long-term support, that it is actually will be supported by Oracle, which is maintaining Java for a long term. So it is a LTS version. So in open source and source, basically LTS version are more stable versions. I encourage you to learn Java 11, 12, 13, 14, whatever new features are coming, but at this point of time, for this course to start, Java 11 should be enough. So once you install on Linux, and if you just do Java dash version, you will get this particular kind of confirmation from console. If you are working on Windows, you can go to this particular link, and here they have already said how you can actually install Java. I kind of like this link. There are so many things onto internet. So if you want to download Java and install on Windows, it has a step-by-step thing. It also talks a little bit about what JDK is and other things. So just to tell you, our JDK is required for developing Java. Okay, so this is called Java Development Kit. There is another kits like JRE. So JRE is Java Runtime Environment, which is basically more for running a Java application. So if you have a JRE, you should be good enough to run any Java program, which is basically if you have a JRE 11, so it should be supporting previous version plus till JRE 11. And JVM is for development. So you need to install JVM and then you need to set the class path. So it has a step-by-step. What you can do, you can download and then install it, or you can directly set the class path if you have a zipped version. So you need to set the class path So it has written everything. And for Mac also there are plenty of tutorials, and you can get it from there, and you can learn how to install on Mac. So there is a link for Mac also, which is from Oracle only. And then you need to have an IDE. Why you require IDE? Yes, you can actually use your command prompt or a notepad plus or a simple notepad also if you have a Java installed. But IDE helps you while writing the code, and IDE is one of the very important factor. You must be noticing that I'm telling you right from the basic, and if you have a prior knowledge of Java or a bit of understanding, you will be actually good enough to understand all this. But at the same time, you must know that I am not expecting you to know anything. Basically, this is a class for those guys who are very new to Java. So let's start with the first class, which is for how actually you can write your first program in Java. And before I start, I would like to tell you what are the things which can go wrong in this particular live demo. Since I am actually recording from home studio, which is my own office, from home, there could be internet down, but I'll try to get online if something goes wrong as quickly as possible. Again, since I'm running from home, I have a son who can bump into me anytime. Currently he's sleeping. For that factor, actually I have chosen a morning slot so that I can record it a bit in a free time. Okay, so let's just start. So once you have downloaded or installed IntelliJ is very simple actually. If you let me go and tell you how you can actually get the IntelliJ also. You need to go in mail also. I have written you from where you can actually get the IntelliJ, which is JetBrains IDEA, and download. So we are using community version. Okay, so this is not a paid version. So if you want to use IntelliJ to full capacity, you can use a paid version, which is a very good tool. At the same time, you can download the community version, and ultimately the paid one. But hopefully most of the freshers will be starting. Community version is good enough and it helps you a lot. So this should be good enough for you. Okay, so let's see what community version of IntelliJ looks like. So I have installed it already. So let me start it. So once you start, basically what you will get this particular screen. You will get a blank page actually. So if I go and start from an empty, anyway, so once you start, you will get IntelliJ. And the first thing you need to do, I have already been working on another project which is opened here. So I'll just minimize it and then I'll tell you. Okay, so for the first thing which you need to do is to click on File and then New and then create a project. Now, while creating this project, because I have installed Java SDK 11, so it is writing SDK 11. So if you have multiple version, you can choose it from here and then click next which Java version you want to use. This, I don't want to start it from any pre-built templates from IntelliJ, so it's fine. You can click next. Then you can give a name to your particular class, basically to your project. So this is what we are doing. We are creating a Java project, a simple Java project, which will help us to start and learn this, which will be very helpful for us in this class. So we will name it Java Learning. This should be fine. Okay. To get what I'll do at the end after this lecture, I'll also share you the link of the code from where you can actually get the entire thing. We will be using Git, which is a very popular version control system. But since I hope that you all are new, so what is version control system? Version control system is used in software industry to manage different versions of a software, as the name suggests, right? So and it helps you to maintain the code, and it can do many more things, but which is out of the scope currently. but I'll tell you how you can actually get the source code from Git library and other things. But at this point of time, just start this Java learning project, and then I'll write you in a mail or in the description of the video. I'll just say finish, and I'll use this particular window only. So once you do that, you will have a Java project ready. So if you click on this icon, what you will see that you have a source folder, right, and external libraries. So if you go here, the libraries are of Java 11. If you click again, you will see all the Java libraries which you have. So these are the libraries from Java JDK which we have chosen. So these are those libraries which will help us to write Java program. And here in source folder, there is this is the place where we will keep all of our Java classes and the learning. So what is today? Today is learning class 1. Okay, and with today's agenda, what we are doing, we are going to write a small Java program. So normally in any programming language, the first program is called hello world. So let's say hello to the world, and let's write the first Java program. In order to do that, right click on this particular folder, new, and then you can actually create a Java class. If you are not using any ID, you can create a new file and save it with .java extension. But here, I'll just do that. So we'll say hello world. But before we do that, we need to put everything. You can directly write it into the source package, but this is not one of the best practices. Why? Because we should have a separate logical concerns, or you can say we should separate different things into different packages in Java. So for example, if you are writing a bigger software, you would like your programs or classes to be segregated in such a way that they are in separate units, and which will help other programmers to understand what this particular unit of code will be doing, right? So what we do, we create folders, which is basically called packages in Java. So for example, if you are creating some service, so you will name it with that service, this folder, and inside that you will start writing your programs. Why I am telling you right now? Because as we go ahead, we will be writing our classes and it is into these packages, and it is a good thing to know. So let's just start with creating first a package. Since this is class 1 or lecture 1, so I'll name the package as lecture 1. At the same time, you can see that I have written everything in lowercase, which is a naming convention in Java for packages. So what do you mean by naming convention? Naming conventions will help you to write such programs which is easily understood by other programmers. Why we are focusing so much on other programmers when we are writing the code, right? It is important because you are not the only one who might be working on this particular piece of software. So it is good for others to understand it easily. So such naming conventions will help you and help others to when they see your code, it is easy for them to understand. Okay, so as and when I will be doing something, I will be telling you what is the naming convention for that particular thing. So for creating a package, we will put everything in lowercase and we'll give some logical name. Currently I am putting it as lecture 1. Okay, now inside this particular package, we will be creating our first Java class. Since we are starting, so we'll create a hello world. Okay, so now what we got a hello world. So if you see here, this is a public class. We'll discuss about everything in detail. So public basically means it is accessible by everyone. And then we have a class which says that, okay, this is a Java class and the name here is hello world, and you can notice H is again in caps and W is again in caps. So we are using two different words, and the naming convention for class goes in camel case. What is camel case? Which I should not say camel case, but the first thing should always be the uppercase, right? So hello H is in uppercase and W is in uppercase. Now let me write a program for it. Okay, so for any of the program in most of the language, you will find an entry point. In Java, the entry point is called the main class. So to write the main class, we will write public static void main. And once you write this particular statement, which says public static void main, and inside this you say a string args, which is for arguments, and you can write args a b c d whatever you want, but I'm just writing which is has been a standard for a long time, which is args. And this one denotes an array, so you can write more than one arguments it can take, so that's why it is. So don't go much into what I have written here at this point of time. We will cover them as and when we actually get time, and as and when we will be proceeding with the classes. But this means this is the entry point of a Java class. And what this hello world will say, this is a very simple one, so this will only do one thing, it will write hello world. Okay, so in order to write a hello world program, you need to print it onto the console, because this is a first program, so it will be printing it onto the console. So what we'll do, to print anything onto the console, if you are familiar with C and others, you had different commands. In Java, it is system.out.println. Okay, so println means print with next line. So if you just write print, it will not go to the next line, which is also a valid one. But if you write println, that means it will go to the next line after the printing. And then I'm writing a string inside it. Strings are normally written with quotes, and what I'll say inside it is hello world. Okay, so this is done. So this is the first simple program which says hello world. So this is a very simple thing to write. In other programming languages, in the newer one, it is much easier. It could be one-liner, but here in Java, this is one of the most standard way to write hello world, which is public static void main string args, which is the entry point. So this one is entry point for the first class in Java, and it is telling hello world. How to run it into IntelliJ? Right click, then say run hello world dot main, or you can also click here, right? So it will actually do run. So you can just say this, and then on your console, this is a console which IntelliJ is giving you, it is printing hello world. So this is the first program which we have written in Java, which says hello world. Now we will write one more program in today's class, which will be adding of two numbers, and we'll take the inputs from user. At this point of time, I'm not going anything much into detail. This is just for you to practice. As we go ahead, we will discussing everything into detail. So today is the first class. We'll keep it very simple. So what is program? Basically, program is a set of rules which we execute. So if I go new and write class again, and then what we need to do here, we will be writing a addition program of two numbers. So what should be the name? You can give any name, but normally we will keep some logical name so that others also understand. So we will name it add two numbers. It is also a class, and here again you have add two numbers. So as you saw, I have written again with A, T, and N in caps letter for add two number. So what we will be doing, we have to add two numbers. So we will first try to write what should be the algorithm for it. So the first step, you need to ask user to get two numbers. So first step is get two numbers. Next step should be add these numbers 3, print the sum. But will it run? It will not run, because it is just simple plain English which I have written, and there is nothing that you can actually do. I mean, English is not Java. Java is not English. Though Java is an English-like language, but it is not English, so it will not run. So this is a pseudo code. So this will help us while writing the code. But so what I'll do, I'll just comment it. So this way you will also learn how to comment. Just put 2 slashes and it will comment. So you can see this, there is an error, that's why it is in red. So once you put slashes, Java understands it's a comment. I mean, the compiler understands it's a comment, and it will not give you an error. It will not be executed. It is for people to understand what has been done afterwards. So comments are a very good practice, and you should always write comment for what you are doing, so that others understand. Again, we are writing program, so everybody understands. Your code, once you are writing, it should be as clean as your face. So you should always be writing code which anybody can understand. I mean, your face might not be for everybody to understand, but it's fine. But you do makeup, you do so many things to keep it clean and look good, right? So your code should be also like that everybody can understand what is written down there. So this is a pseudo code, and it will help us and it will guide us while writing the program also. So as I said, for anything you need to write public static void main. So let's do public, I mean, which is the entry point, static void and main. If you are using IntelliJ, because it is a tedious task every time to write such futile things, because we are writing a main class which is an obvious thing in Java. So normally IDEs will have shortcuts, and it is very good to learn shortcuts with IDEs, right? What I'll do, I'll just remove it and I'll show you how you can actually use shortcut. Just write PSVM. So you can see P when you write, which is a short form for public static void main. It is writing PSVM, right? So if you write this, it will write up public static void main for you. Yeah, IntelliJ is very exciting. So I had been from Eclipse background. So what I have done also, I have changed the key map a bit to Eclipse. Key map is basically, I mean, it might be too much for you to understand at this point of time because you are freshers mostly, but key map is how keys will behave. So in settings, if you are from other, if you have already been in Java and using other IDs, you can actually change your key map to so many different things in IntelliJ. So you can actually find, and I have changed it to a bit Eclipse because I had been working with Eclipse for a long time, and recently I switched to IntelliJ and I'm loving it. Anyway, so this is the pseudo code which we were using. Get 2 numbers, which is the first thing. So before you get 2 numbers from user, you need to ask user that give me the numbers, right? So we'll write again. Again, I'm using a shortcut which is SOUT for system.out.println, and once you do that, it will print. We'll write enter the first number. Good. So now it will do ask you for the first number, and because of ln, it will go to the next line. So here also, while running hello world, you can see it went to the next line and then finished the code, right? So it will ask you for the first number. Now because user has to enter, you need to take it from user. Don't worry too much what I write at this point of time, but this is a way to get the values from user in Java. Okay, so I will be using a scanner class, scanner equal to new scanner, and what this should take, it should take a system input. So normally scanner takes an input stream, or there are so many things. You can go to, if you just do a control and do a right click onto this particular class, you will go to a scanner. and you can read the program which is written by people, which is from Java IDE, so scanner, and there are so many different methods here, so you need not to learn all this. I'm just telling you this is these are the ways you can actually explore Java more. But at this point of time, it takes a input from user, so which is input stream. So what I'll do, I'll just write system dot in. Okay, so now what we are asking this particular in this line, that to get the input from the input stream which will be typed here. So what the time you Java finds this line, it will wait for user to key in the values. Okay, so hoping that user will be writing an integer or a decimal. So I'll take, so he might write a decimal, right? He might write 23.1. So let's take that into consideration and get those values from a scanner. Okay, so scanner will be now having the value. So to get the decimal values, I'm just thinking a bit ahead in program. So as a programmer, what you need to do, you need to think before writing code, right? So you can write next double. Double is for anything which could be integer, or it could be for a decimal thing. If you are so sure that he will only be writing integer, so you could have used scanner dot next int. Okay, so this will give you integer. Integer means 1 2 3 4 only, no decimal values. Okay, so this is the first value which user is keying in, and now we need to get the second value. So we'll just copy paste. I'll not do this because I have already defined something above, so there is no need to define two times. And this is the second number which user will be keying in. Now we need to understand one more thing here, because user is keying in and the value is here, but we need to get this value somewhere. We need to keep this value. So we need to define a placeholder which keeps these values. So think, for example, you are asking a fruit from a seller. So once he gives you a fruit, you will put it into a container before you take it to your home. Without container, how will you carry this? How will you remember it? So here what we need to do, we need to define a container. Here we will take double because it is returning double. Okay, so double and then first number. Are you from any programming background? If from a new programming background, there are so many like Python and others things that if you have actually been through them, you can use. With Java it is statically typed, so double goes into double. But since we are using Java 11, which is a fairly latest version of, not the latest but newer version of Java, you can avoid writing double also. I'll tell you with this particular one. So you can also use, rather than writing and defining, if you want to use double integer or what the value will be, you can use var. So I'll use var second number. So this says it is a variable, and the time it, because what it will do, it is returning double, so it understands that this is a double value, so automatically it will go into this one. So now I have two input numbers, so whichever user has keyed in. Now I need to add these numbers, right? So to add these numbers, we will perform the second step, and we, as you know, it is just a simple math that we will be doing. So I'll write again a var sum is equal to first number plus second number. Okay, now we need to print the sum. So to print the sum, I will have to use system.out.println, and then I'll write the sum for given number is, and I will just write a plus, which means add these two strings and print together, and then sum. Now if I run this program, this will ask me two numbers and then add it. So let's revisit what we have done. We have asked user for the first number, then with this scanner we have took this particular whatever user keys into this one, because whenever compiler comes here, it will wait for user to key in the number. It will store it into this particular variable. Then after that we are asking to give the second number, yes, okay, and then we are storing it again in the second number variable, and then we are performing a sum here and then printing. Okay, so there could be many ways that you can write program. This is the very simple one which I have been telling, and this is the way I have started. So let's run it. Okay, run, add two numbers. See, now here you can see it is waiting for the first number. So I'll write 5.4. Okay, now it should ask me what is the second number. Say I'll ask 3.6. So now what should be the sum? So it says the sum of the given number is 9.0. So actually this is what we wanted to do. We wanted to write two numbers and then do a sum of it. Okay, so we have added these two numbers and then stored it into the third variable, which is sum, and printed. And after this there is nothing to do. So program finished and exited. Okay, so this is very simple program. So and this is what I wanted to show you in the first class. Now you have any questions regarding it, what you can do, you can go to the Slack channel, you can write your questions here. How to get this particular link for Slack, if you want to join classes, or if you in future, if you are seeing somewhere onto the YouTube, what you can do basically, you can go and type. I'll open incognito mode so that it doesn't log in itself. bit.ly/coingsaint_slack. If you type this URL, you will come to a page. Okay, so you will get this one, and inside this you can actually register yourself and write your, and once you register, it will give you, once it loads, it will give you the email address, and once you finish the registration, it will take you the Slack page. Okay, so once you, that is done, to write any questions or any queries, and for this particular course, because we will be finishing the entire Java, this is the today's first class where we wrote addition of two numbers. You can ask the question into discussion_Java. Okay, so if you want to write, you can write your queries here. Okay, so if you want to learn anything more, or if you want to ask, you can ask it. Okay, so if you ask, I'll try to answer your queries, but because there are time constraints, sometimes it might get delayed. I also encourage you to write. If you know the answers of somebody else is asking, you can answer it, and it is fine. But do not abuse anyone, because you will be kicked out if you abuse. Okay, so don't abuse, don't use bad languages, foul languages. Just be very simple, humble, and ask questions. It's fine. Okay, and as I said, just to give a little bit more thing, if you want to, if somebody is watching and want to learn advanced Java, okay, and if you want to learn Spring Boot microservices, you can use bit.ly spring.ms, and it will take you to a course which is on Spring Boot on Udemy, and from there you can learn Spring. And then if you want to run Reactive Java, which is a fairly a bit advanced, might not be everybody will be interested here, because this is an introductory class. These two are for advanced people, but anyway, so you can use this particular link and go there. You can follow me onto Kumar_Pallav, and do follow Coding Saint, which is my Twitter channel for where I write only technical things. And at the end, you can also write me a mail at kp_codingsaint.com. Thanks for watching. Tomorrow we will come back with tomorrow, because we have to cover a lot. So tomorrow will be a good day where we will be learning conditional statements in Java. So this was day one. Do give me feedbacks. Do let me know where I can also improve, and it's fine. So this is all for today. Thanks a lot.